24 stars all around the world who changed their names after their careers took off, Part 2nd. 13 Elizabeth Banks. Another University of Pennsylvania grad who changed their name after embarking on their career path is actress Elizabeth Banks. During her earliest on-screen appearances, Elizabeth was credited by her given name, Elizabeth Marisol Mitchell. By 2000, Elizabeth was landing numerous film and TV roles and decided to change her stage surname to Banks in order to prevent being confused with actress Elizabeth Mitchell. 14 Nicki Minaj. One of Drake's closest friends also changed her name after establishing her career. Born Annika Tanya Mirage, Nicki Minaj originally started her music career under the name Nicki Mirage, but later changed her surname to Minaj as an homage to the French word ménage. In 2010, after the release of her album Pink Friday, Nicki announced to the world that she had another name, this one for her gay male alter ego, Roman Zolinski, whom she claims is leading the way when it comes to makeup and hair. Another well-known alter ego of hers is Nicki Lewinsky, which, as the last name suggests, is a reference to Bill Clinton's former mistress, White House intern Monica Lewinsky. 15 Michael Keaton. A quick peek at Michael Keaton's IMDb page reveals that this longtime actor once performed using his given name, Michael John Douglas. After his first on-screen role in 1974 on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Michael joined the Screen Actors Guild, but he wasn't able to use his own name since there was already an actor in the union by the name of Michael Douglas. So, after scanning a list of surnames, Michael settled on Keaton for his professional moniker, claiming it sounded good enough, though he has always used his real name in his personal life. 16 Lana Del Rey. While it's not unusual for up-and-coming stars to change their names, the story behind musician Lana Del Rey's stage name is less about creative inspiration and more about finding a profitable business angle. Born Elizabeth Woolridge Grant, she embarked on a music career in 2007 as Lizzie Grant but couldn't seem to find success. After a few years of failed starts and 2 unsuccessful EPs, Lizzie's management team came up with the idea of changing her name to Lana Del Rey, thinking a transformation was the missing ingredient. They carefully scrubbed the internet of nearly every trace of Lizzie Grant before changing her name and releasing her self-titled debut studio album in 2010. 17 Frank Ocean. Musical genius Frank Ocean may have arrived on the world stage with a suave and sophisticated-sounding name, but he was born Christopher Edwin Breaux. By the time he debuted his first studio album, Channel Orange, in 2011, he'd been performing as Frank Ocean, a name he derived from the classic 1960 film Ocean's 11 and one of the film's stars, Frank Sinatra. After unofficially performing with the name for years, the Grammy-winning artist filed legal documents in 2014 to permanently change his name to Christopher Francis Ocean. In 2015, his request was granted. 18 Lucy Hale. Former Pretty Little Liars star Lucy Hale was actually born Karen Lucille Hale in 1989. From her earliest roles beginning in 2005, the actress, who claims she's always gone by an abbreviated version of her middle name, decided to use the stage name Lucy Kate Hale. She eventually dropped her made-up middle name around 2010 and has since been known as simply Lucy Hale. 19 Bob Dylan. Long before Bob Dylan became a folk rock icon, he was a fresh-faced teenage musician going by the name Elston Gunn while performing in the late 1950s with Bobby Vee and his band. Born Robert Allen Zimmerman, the future music star actually changed his name several times before settling on his now famous moniker. For a short while, he went by Robert Allen and even Robert Allen until, he's claimed, he randomly selected Bob Dylan before releasing his self-titled debut album in 1962. Although Bob's alluded to being inspired by poet Dylan Thomas, he's also denied it, making his stage name even more mysterious. Interestingly, he's performed under other stage names since, including as Tidham Porterhouse on an album with Ramblin' Jack Elliott and as folk singer Blind Boy Grunt, both in the mid-60s. In 1972, Bob also performed as a pianist by the name of Robert Milkwood Thomas on Steve Goodman's album Somebody Else's Troubles. 20. Michael Caine. Throughout most of his career, the world's known this legendary screen and theater star by his stage name, Michael Caine. Born Maurice Joseph Micklewhite, the British actor briefly toyed with the name Michael Scott in the early 1950s before settling on Caine as his surname. But it wasn't until July 2016 that he officially changed his name through the courts at the age of 83, claiming he'd finally grown weary of airport delays due to confusion over his legal name on his passport and his well-known Hollywood persona. 21. Marilyn Monroe. It turns out this blonde bombshell actually had several names. Born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926, she would later be baptized Norma Jean Baker. By 1946, a year before her first movie role, Norma Jean was already going by her stage name, Marilyn Monroe, which was inspired by her favorite actress, Marilyn Miller, and her mother Gladys Pearl Baker's maiden name, Monroe. In 1956, the Some Like It Hot star made it official and legally changed her name to Marilyn Monroe. 22. Jermaine Jackson. Former Jackson 5 member Jermaine Jackson has undergone 2 name changes throughout the course of his career. In 1989, after converting to Islam, Jermaine unofficially changed his name to Mohammed Abdul Aziz. Then in 2012, the performer decided to change his name once more, but this time, opted to do it through the courts. The name he settled on? Jermaine Jackson. Citing creative reasons, Jermaine's request was officially granted in 2013. 23. Lady Gaga. Years before Lady Gaga was a pop music queen, she found fame in New York's underground music scene under her real name, Stefani Germanotta. In 2005, she even founded a band called, wait for it, the Stefani Germanotta Band, also known as SG Band for short. While recording in the studio, Stefani's boyfriend at the time, Rob Fusari, coined the nickname Gaga because her musical style reminded him of the Queen song Radio Gaga. As Rob's side of the story goes, he one day sent Stefani a text, calling her Radio Gaga, but the phone auto-corrected it to Lady Gaga. Stefani, however, has a different recollection. She claims she's the one who came up with Lady as it evoked class and elegance, which was so different from the crazy connotation of Gaga. 24. Tori Amos. Her birth name, Myra Ellen Amos, was awful and had no flow, according to the musician we now know as Tori Amos. So after releasing one single in 1980 under the name Ellen Amos, she changed her name, claiming her boyfriend came up with the idea when he said she resembled the grand Tory pine tree one night at a bar. The name stuck and she went on to release her first studio album, Little Earthquakes, in 1992 as Tori Amos. If you feel good, please support the author by subscribing to Daily News to track the next video every day.